Day 4 has wrapped up here at the Toronto Film Festival. We're at the halfway mark, and look, exhaustion is starting to set in. 3 a.m. bedtime, 4 straight days, and seeing 16 films in those 4 days, that's going to take its toll. But look, hopefully we can keep pushing on for the rest of the festival. I was only hoping to see 3 films today, but I had to add 2 more to the schedule because I've got some interviews lined up in relation to those tomorrow, so I'll share them in tomorrow's video blog. But to get to the films from today, yes, 5 in all, spread across 5 different theatres, so a lot of walking to do. Started at midday in the Ryerson Theatre with Take This Waltz. It's a funny, sweet, emotional, real film-going experience. And we've seen many films about people cheating on their spouses, whether it's the right thing, but I loved this level-headed perspective from director Sarah Polley. It stars Michelle Williams. I think it's her finest performance. It's better than Brokeback Mountain. It's better than Blue Valentine. I hope there's some award attention here for her. It also stars a surprisingly subtle Seth Rogen, Sarah Silverman, Luke Kirby as well. Polley and a few cast members are on hand for a post Q&A. It was nice to see them back up from the previous night's premiere, and I think this is on a par with The Descendants of the best I've seen at TIFF so far, and I hope it gets an Aussie release. I gave that an A. Dark Horse was up next at 2:30 at the Elgin Theatre. Comes from the creative mind of writer-director Todd Solondz, who made Welcome to the Dollhouse and Happiness. It's the story of a complete loser, both in his personal life and professional life. I laughed out loud a few times, but I was expecting more from the story, and the ending's a bit strange, but I should have expected that from Solondz. So Dark Horse gets a B. Eye of the Storm up next at 4:30 at the Winter Garden Theatre. First time I've been to the Winter Garden Theatre at the festival, and it is beautiful. They've got this garden foliage that comes out of the roof, and it's beautiful. The film, a superb cast: Judy Davis, Jeffrey Rush, Charlotte Rampling. How could anything go wrong with such a cast? But I think something did go wrong, because I found it rather tedious, and maybe it's because I can't relate, but it's the story of a brother and sister, their attempts to reconcile with their eccentric mother in the last days of her life. So Eye of the Storm, I was disappointed. I'm giving it a C+. Shame was up next at the Princess of Wales Theatre. It was my first trip to this theatre as well. Another amazing venue. I see these theatres and I think there's so many of them in such a small location, and Toronto is probably about as big as Brisbane. I think Brisbane has none. But to get to the film Shame, this one's had a lot of pre-festival hype, and I can see why now. It's a gripping, unflinching eye-opener about a sex addict living in New York. The audience watched this in stunned silence. The cinematography, the editing, the score, all excellent. Director Steve McQueen, who made Hunger 3 years ago, shows he's not afraid to tackle issues that are kept from public view. So a big thumbs up here from me. I'm giving it an A-. Now, I really enjoyed the post-film Q&A here. Despite the fact he has made 2 such confronting films, McQueen came across as a very relaxed, unassuming guy. I had to laugh, though, at a question posed of star Michael Fassbender about what research he had to do for his role as a sex addict.
Really?
The question for those in the back is, what kind of research did Michael put into the role?
I just sort of threw myself into it. You know, it's kind of, the research for me is pretty much always the same. It's, you know, the script. And I just spend a lot of time with the script, and that's kind of what I tend to do with all scripts. I just sort of reread it, and after a while it sort of, I don't know, sits in your neck.
Last up was a film at the TIFF Bell Lightbox, 10 p.m, press screening which is part of the City to City program, and I'll talk about that tomorrow, but it's called The Student, and it's Argentinian, about a university student who gets caught up in the world of student politics. And as an Australian, it was hard for me to understand their political system and terminology. It seemed quite intricate, but I could follow for the most part. I think it ends on a nice note. So, The Student gets a B. And now it's time, really, for what's quickly becoming my favourite part of the day. I get to sleep. So, and I've got some really good stuff, hopefully, to share with you tomorrow, and 3 films as well. So, that's it. Day 4 at TIFF. Good night.